Mike, how's it going, bud? Oh, Mark Coleman, John Seats. Bunch of you popping on here. Oh, Mike, I'll tell you what, we've had nothing but ungodly weather, tornadoes, everything. Luckily for us, not so much for a lot of my friends, but just south of here, they just got hammered with tornadoes. And actually, northeast of here got hammered with tornadoes. We got a lot of rain, a lot of wind, a lot of trees down, but we didn't get the blunt of it. But a lot of friends did. Mark Coleman, I hope you're doing good, buddy. Robert, yeah, something looks different. I had to do a little makeshift deal here for the studio room because next week we're actually going to be. I got Kyle Weeder from a Drilling Outdoors coming over, and we have 2 days worth of filming, and we're going to do a lot of Q&A stuff for the website and for social media in my trophy room. Set down deal because I got a feeling it's going to be 100 degrees in the shade, and I got air out there, so I had to move all this stuff out. For now, it's going back in after the video shoot, but I thought, well, I had help here the other day to get this out and get it in here into my gun room. It worked out really well. So, yep, a little different view tonight, but probably the only time you'll see it this way. Mark, come over. You can have that leather patch hat if you want. Just come over and get it, bud. Jeff, good to see you. Old Danny's on here. Good to see you from Michigan, Bubba. Old Up North Journal. The lighting is not the best in here, but hopefully you can hear me all right, see me all right. All that matters is I tell you the truth about everything tonight, we'll be good to go. So we'll see how that goes. Josh, good to see you from Louisiana, bud. Mike, good evening. We'll get ready to fire this thing up here shortly. I'm used to looking at deer heads everywhere. Now I'm only looking at fish and everything else. This is kind of weird. Not used to this. We got a pretty easy topic in the night, but a very important one. So one of them that a lot of people make mistakes on. So hopefully we can do a little teaching here tonight, help people out, and give them a better food plot this fall. You're welcome anytime, Mark. Well, I say we give her about one, and we're going to fire this thing up. We got people on board like crazy on here, so. Jeff, you got a question? It's a great time to ask it, bud. What you got? I'm ready for questions. Oh, Mike, talk. Oh, you okay? I got you now. You missed some Jolt fertilizer on sunflowers in a customer's plot. Swear they were taller before I left. I'll tell you what, bud, that stuff is unbelievable. My wife is cussing me every day because I religiously spray it on my yard because I'm trying to kill all the crabgrass out of it and get the clover out of it, which is kind of odd for the clover king here wanting to kill clover out, but I don't want it in my front yard, especially this type of clover. And so I'm hammering it with Jolt to get that grass to overtake it. She's mowing 3 times a week. She's in my butt all the time. Jason, good to see you on here, bud. John, you're right. Being surrounded by guns is always a good thing. There's not a lack of them in here, I'll tell you that. Just wanting to know how early is too early to plant annuals by me, meaning him, where he's at in Wisconsin. I would not plant any annual, especially a bulb type brassica plant, nowhere anytime sooner than probably the 3rd weekend of July. That would be the earliest I would plant there where you're at, Jeff, in Wisconsin. You're part of Wisconsin. That 3rd weekend of July to about mid-August is great, but I wouldn't plant them any earlier, especially a bulb plant. You really don't want them brassicas maturing out before that frost. You want that frost to kill them. So that's the reason why. Ian, would you use Joel on some first year Kansas I planted was that perennial screen on my property? Absolutely, buddy. That Mechanis, you can spray that Jolt on there. It's a nitrogen lover. It loves nitrogen. Just like any of your barriers, even your annual type barriers. But it works very well on it. I got a few buddies that use it religiously on it, and it works very, very well. Mark's asking, I get my tractor supply spots filled. I got a few of them filled. All I really needed, did good on that. I wish there was more closer to this area, but there wasn't. Willie, good to see you from Georgia. Scott, hello to you too. All right, let's just go ahead and fire this thing up again. Feel free to ask questions. I'll go back through and look at them, type them in there. I'll go back through after I get long and winded and talking, and you know how I can get, and I get pretty windy. So I'll go back through and answer them for you. But oh, there's Eric Kibler. Oh yeah, I gotta go pick up a deer head tomorrow, and he's got cookies made for me. How many of you guys out there have a taxidermist that their wife will actually make you paper platefuls of cookies? And I'm talking 4, 5, and 6 paper platefuls of cookies for you. Homemade cookies. I want to know how taxidermists out there are doing that for you, because I know mine does, and I can't wait. But all right, let's get started on this. Again, throw questions out there. You got questions, ask me. If I don't know the answer, I'll make them up for you. So you know how I roll. Choosing the right annual for a fall planting. You know, choosing that right mix is very crucial, and it's a mistake that a lot of people do. They have a mistake with this. Number one is because they don't have a lot of knowledge about it. Just like Jeff was talking there, and Jeff's a very smart guy, knows food plots in and out. But asking me the question on how early is too early, that is one of the mistakes most people make. Now, I know it's not picking the right annual, but it kind of goes along with it. So let's just look at a brassica type plot. You have a brassica plot, bulbed or not. You never want that brassica to mature out prior to a frost. You want the frost to kill it. If it matures out prior to that frost, no matter how big your turnip or how big the leaves are, never as sweet as they should, and they never be as palatable as they should. So so I get asked a lot. I got yesterday by 3 different people on the phone, you know, when should I plant? And I ask them, well, when do you get your first heavy frost normally? And we all know it changes. It changes here every year. But normally, most of them couldn't answer that for me. Well, I'd have to go back and look. I don't know. It could be October, it could be November. Well, there's a big difference. There's 4 weeks there between October and November. So, you kind of really want to play it by ear. In the Midwest, you kind of look at here where I'm at in Central Illinois, the 15th of August to Labor Day. That's when I'm always planting mine. If I don't have any rain, I'm waiting. We'll get into that just here in a little bit by choosing the right mix there. That kind of goes along with it. But never plant your brassica varieties prior to when that plant will still be growing when it gets its first frost, heavy frost. Now, there's other annuals that you can plant that need to be planted even later. Again, we'll talk about that here shortly. So when it comes to picking the proper one, you got to look at, if you're looking, let's say our honey hole mix. Our honey hole mix is our #1 selling annual mix. It has been for 30 plus years. Actually 40 years now. It's crazy knowing that mix is that old and still our #1 selling annual mix. But you have a mix there that you're pretty much getting 99.9% all late season food. If you want a mix that is going to provide food for them deer during your early bow season, September, October, do not plant honey hole for it. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to be big. It's going to be leafy, offer a lot of tonnage. They're not going to hit it till later. So when it comes to looking for a spot that you want for an early bow season, all the way into gun season, that's where you look into the lights out mix. Works great. The fall, winter, spring works great. The slam dunk is phenomenal. The mixes there are going to do very, very well for you for that early season, mid-season, into the late. Now, my favorite thing to do, and you've heard me say it a million times, I want food there all season long. So I'm taking honey hole and I'm taking slam dunk, I'm mixing them together, and that's what I'm planting. That's what I've done for years and years and years, and I will always, they can fire me today and I'll plant it tomorrow. That is to mix for an early bow season all the way through late season in the spring of the next year. That's my mix right there. Now, I say into the spring of the next year, 99% of the time, unless you can plant enough of it, you're not going to have any left because the deer are going to wipe that honey hole out through the winter months. So that's where you can incorporate some cereal rye, something like that in with it. That's going to continue to grow after it comes out of its dormancy that next spring. But the honey hole and slam dunk by far is my #1 choice when it comes to an annual food source. Here in Central Illinois, again, I'm planting the 15th of August to Labor Day is when I want to get that in. With that time period, I'm going to get very good growth out of it before we get our first heavy frost. Then the frost is the thing. For you guys that are wanting, and this has happened for years and years here, probably the last 5, 6 years, maybe 7, that we have planted in mid-Labor Day, and we've been in no rain, no nothing. It's just nothing will grow. That's where the lights out in the fall, winter, spring. The lights in the fall, winter, spring are mixes that you do not want to plant during your normal annual planting time. Like mine here is the 15th of August to Labor Day. I will never plant fall, winter, spring, or lights out during that time period. I'll always plant them a month later. I'm not planting my lights out or my fall, winter, spring till mid-September, usually into that second week of September. So them are awesome mixes. They offer a lot of all-season food source. You're going to be getting your early season. You're going to be getting your mid. You're going to be getting your late season. With the fall, winter, spring, you're going to get an unbelievable early spring food source, high protein, 30% protein with that cereal rye. Cereal rye will not actually, it will not die off with the first frost. It goes dormant like a perennial. Even though it's an annual, it'll go dormant. It will green back up about a month earlier than normal spring green up and offer you about 30% protein for about 3 to 4 months and then die off on its own. So that's why the cereal rye works very, very well. Or like I do with the honey hole and slam dunk, I grab a couple of our 1 pound bags and I mix some cereal rye in with it so the deer will have something there that next spring, along with all the clover that I have for them in other plots. So it just works out really well. But picking the right one is key. Another issue a lot of people have is they don't look at how much sun that a plant actually needs. So you take the honey hole, you take the slam dunk, you take the fall, winter, spring, you take the lights out, you take the grade 8 mix, which grade 8 is another awesome all-season food source, unbelievable all-season food source. You take all them, they need a minimum of 5 to 6 hours of sun a day. If you go in there and plant them in a backwoods plot, you'll get some growth out of them. You may be happy with them, but they never get to the maturity that they should. So always look to see how much sun that plant needs. Now, if you're in a shaded area, our game changer clover, that's what it's designed for. You look at our no sweat shaded areas, poor soil. So them are the ones that you're looking at for your backwood plots, getting less than 5 hours of sun a day. Your mixes are, well, that's just it's a throw and grow type mix, and mix that, it's just cheap. It's actually not. It's a very nutritional product that is going to grow great and offer you more tonnage than a premium variety will, because it will not grow in that application. So I would, and on all my backwood plots and my logging roads, I will pick, even though I'm a diehard trophy clover guy and I'm a diehard honey hole slam dunk guy, I will pick no sweat and I will pick game changer clover for my backwood plots and my logging roads or the other, just because I know I want to get more tonnage out of it, as they don't need all that sunlight. So just because it's not a premium, you're not going to get the tonnage out of that mix that you would out of the one. So the premium mixes are great, as long as you got the premium spot to plant them in. And that's one key thing that a lot of people make the mistake, like I said before, is make sure that you find out if that plant needs sun or if it's more of a shaded area. So you want to make sure. If not, you're going to be very, very discouraged when that plant starts growing. They never grow. Again, though, you might think they look great. I have guys sending me pictures all the time of a honey hole plot that they planted in the backwoods, getting probably 3 hours of sun on it. They are loving it. They can't believe it, but it's nothing like it should be. Just like the trophy clover is the same way. You can plant trophy clover in a more shaded area. You will get some growth out of it, but instead of getting 10 tons of forage per acre, you're getting 1 to 2. So it just makes just knowing what it looks like, what it should look like, and seeing what yours actually does look like planted in the wrong area, you'd be blown away. But again, if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. All right, before I start blowing and going some more, let's answer some questions here. Tim Lambert, good to see you, bud. Good talking to you today. Jeff Johnson, have a good customer that plants now when it works out for him. He's the only one I know that can get sugar beets to constantly grow, always has great results every time he plants. Sugar beets, actually right now, bud, sugar beets is one that you could be planting sugar beets right now. As long as you can keep that a weed-free seed bed and getting the moisture that we're getting right now, or I am anyway. I know you guys have been. I mean, sugar beets would be a good one. I'd plant sugar beets right now, no problem at all. Just not your bulb plant, your turnips, your radishes, and your kale. Ian, I have a 12 to 16 foot strip between the fence line and the timber. I'm going to be using a path to drive on a scrape line leading to the food plot adjacent to the neighbor's corn. What do you think would be a great option for this? The neighbor has corn. The neighbor has corn this year, and it's something like no sweat mixture. Since I intend to kill early season with the plot while the corn is still in, do you think it'd be a good idea I also like the idea of there being clovers in it for the future. Game changer clover, but you cannot beat it for something like that. Um, Depending on the sun, the trophy clover as well. If you got a good soil uh, and a good sun, at least 5 hours, 6 hours sun a day, I would go definitely trophy clover. Anything under that, I would go the game changer. The good thing about it is you're going to have clover there for many years, and it's going to take all the pressure. If you're wanting to drive ATVs on it, anything like that, it's going to take the abuse. It's not going to be a run over. It will take the abuse, bounce right back up. Jeff, you're right. Where you're at in Wisconsin, our planting time here is about 3 weeks later. You're exactly right, bud. I noticed that when I was living up in Wisconsin there, and it was about 3 weeks. Mark Coleman just made a decent food plot last week in a shaded area using Game Changer clover. Can't wait to see the results. Absolutely, bud. You cannot beat Game Changer clover for something like that. And you know, guys, there's this with Mark saying that. I'm glad you put that on there, Mark, because it sparked something in me here. I don't know if you guys seen it or not. I guess I need to do my job a little better. If you've seen our post the other day that we put on the Antler King page, it said talking about planting Game Changer in June. You know, I had so much, I shouldn't really say hate mail, but kind of like it about that. It made me realize I need to start putting the regions on there, because having people in the South tell me it's too hot, this and that, you know, I totally understand. But again, a little education helps a little bit. You know, there are so many people that came on there and was asking me why I'm planting that in June. And if you've ever listened to me talk about planting clovers, I've always said, if I can't get it planted by June 1st, I'll wait till mid-August. But depending on where you're at, depending on the heat you get, if you're getting the moisture or not, if you plant that clover the first part of June and you're in a drought, that clover is going to lay there dormant until them rains come in later on, and it's going to pop up and be good. If you can get the rains on it and get that plant emerged out of the ground, even if it gets hot and kills it off, it's just going to kill it until them rains come back in, because that perennial root system's already developed and it's going to start growing again. So it's a win-win either way. Now, will I plant a food plot in the middle of July? Absolutely not, I'm not. But early in June, I will plant clovers all day long, no matter what the weather is, if they're going to lay there dormant or if they're going to pop up and emerge out of the ground. Because as soon as they emerge out of the ground, that root system is developed, and it's a perennial root system that will, even though them plants, if they get fried through some hot sun the next month, they will green right back up when your fall rains start coming back in. So really, again, I guess I'm going to have to start being more specific on what areas I'm talking about in post. I never thought it would blow up to what it did, being a planting Game Changer clover in June. I had no clue it would with some people, but other people, they took it, they learned from it, and it was awesome. So if you guys ever see a post like that and it's really confusing to you, reach out to me, let me know. You know, that's how I know how people are looking at things, how they're reading it. And if they are mistaken by it, tell me, so I know how to correct it. So I'd appreciate that. See what else we got on here. Scott, you're right. Probably there in Solon, Missouri, you're really, really close, right on the same time period as I am. Rob's asking, can I still plant some screening cover around my hunting area? If you're talking about a screen like our barricade, you're getting late. It's going to depend on your growing season. It loves nitrogen and it loves moisture. So going in right now, hopefully you have both, especially the moisture more so, because these big stem sorghums, they are a very slow growing plant till they get the third leaf on them, and then they grow like wildfire. So, you know, you could probably get by. I'm not going to say you're going to get 8 foot of growth out of it. You never know. You might have the best growing season ever this summer, and it might be 14 foot tall. You just never know. But I always try to get mine planted earlier than later, just because usually coming into this time of year, normally this time of year, I'm in a drought. This year, we've had nothing but storms and all the rain we could ever think of. Everything's just growing like wildfires. But normally I'm in a drought now, and if I tried planting, it would never be tall enough come season. But it's better off to try it than not try it at all. So you never know what Mother Nature is going to give you. James Weaver, good to see you on here, bud. Mark Coleman, playing around with red zone this year. Any tips on that? When to plant, where to plant? Mark, red zone is a mix a lot of people don't know very much about from us. And we've had it for many, 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 many years. It's a soybean pea variety. It does have a mixture of a variety of sunflowers mixed in with it. I'm not trying to discourage you at all, but I've always told people, if you can't plant at least 2 acres of it, do not plant it. The number one reason, as soon as them little peas and them soybeans get about an inch out of the ground, every deer on the property is going to pick them right out of the dirt. And if there's not enough of it out there, they will. You take a handful of does, in about 4 or 5 evenings, they will completely clear out a half-acre plot. They'll never let it grow. If you can get it to grow, a lot of the guys on the smaller plots, they're fencing them off. But if you can get it to grow and keep the deer pressure off of it while it can grow, you cannot beat this mix, especially for an early season. Now with red zone, you can plant 2 different ways. You can plant in the springtime, which I've done a lot of that years ago. I'd plant red zone in the spring, and then I'd let it feed the deer throughout the spring, summer months. And then come August, I will walk right through the red zone, and I'd hand broadcast honey hole right into it. So what peas and beans that are left, the honey hole's growing right up in them. So they got the best of all 3 worlds there. But if you want an unbelievable early mid-season food source, the Hunover, plant it in the fall. Do a fall planting at the same time you would your brassica type plots, your other annuals like that. And it is the only thing green, especially in my area here where I have all the agriculture. You see what happens when soybeans start turning yellow, the deer start walking away from them. When you have red zone planted late summer, early fall, they are green as a gourd, and you'll have every deer in that food plot. But again, if that food plot ain't big enough, they will completely destroy and wipe them out. I mean, I will promise you that. But great mix, unbelievable mix. But the deer like it very, very well, especially when it jumps that little inch out of the ground. Eric's asking, how much time do you give an existing plot for a burn down until the time you plant? I have a lush clover plot that will be planted in slam dunk and honey hole. Depending on what you're spraying on, Eric, glyphosate, Liberty, stuff like that. I mean, I'm planting within 7 days. But I like to kill mine off early, get it killed dead, then till it under. But I mean, you can plant within 7 days. Some's going to tell you 12, but I planted a lot of food plots in my time. Letting them just lay there for about 7 days, work the soil and plant. Now, if you're using 2,4-D, which has a residual to it, it could take 30 days. So you really got to walk through there what you found out has a residual. I'm just killing them off, get rid of it, the replant right over. All I use anymore is Liberty, but glyphosate will work as well. There's so many plants that immune to that it don't even hardly sun them. You can't even hardly kill clover with glyphosate. It just won't even hardly do it. It's hard to kill clover anyway. Just curious, how long is your deer season? Mine ends the first Saturday of January. We don't normally get heavy frost here in Virginia until the late January, early February. So do you think it's a good idea to have the honey hole plot? I always say, I'm always going to tell you yes, and it's not because I want you to buy the honey hole. I'm saying yes because of the healthiness of the deer herd. I would always want the honey hole in there somewhere just to get the deer through them nasty winter months. Even though season is out, it's going to help fatten them deer up. It's going to offer them a lot of high energy and that 24 to 28% energy that will help them deer fatten up and get over that long, hard rut and get through them winter months so we can give you 100% the next year. So yes, I would have honey hole there just to help the deer herd out. But then you could also plant something like the grade 8. You can plant something, in there. The grade 8 would actually be a great one. And for the guys that don't know what grade 8 is, our grade 8 mix is actually a mixture of 4 of our best sellers. It's got Lights Out in it. It's got Fall, Winter, Spring in it. It's got Slam Dunk in it. And it's got Honey Hole in it. It has a lot of late season food. So if you have a small plot and you don't have enough room for 2 of them, 2 plots, a honey hole plot and something else, I would plant grade 8. If it was me and I had, depending on the size of the plot again, grade 8 is going to be great. Honey hole with Slam Dunk mixed in, it's going to be great. Or if you just got 2 small areas and you don't want to mix them together, you could plant honey hole on one, Slam Dunk on the other, and get through the whole season. So, but if I just have one plot, I would either be mixing honey hole and Slam Dunk together, or I would be mixing, or I'd be planting the grade 8. So, which is going to give you the early season all the way through late season. But the honey hole is going to offer you the honey hole Slam Dunk combination is going to offer you a lot more late season tonnage than the grade 8 will. Scott used Liberty. Liberty is one of the best things ever. I had a farmer turn me onto that a few years ago, and I cannot believe the burn down on it. It's just unbelievable. And guys, something else a lot of people don't think of. They don't think about, except for the game changer clover. They don't think about planting clovers in the fall time of the year, late summer, fall time. Now, don't get me wrong. I try my best to plant all my clovers in the spring because I want the most tonnage I can get out of them that first fall. But for somebody that can't get in there in the spring and do it, planting clovers is a great way to get them established for that next year coming in. Now, are you going to have 5 tons of forage that first fall? Absolutely not. You're probably going to have the ugliest looking clover plot you've ever seen. But that next spring is going to blow you away. And another good thing about planting in the fall time, a lot of your annual old nasty weeds and stuff like that are starting to slow down. They're starting to die off. You don't have as much weed and grass issue with a fall planting of clover as you do in the spring. So don't think you just have to do annuals. You can get out there with them perennials. You can get out there with your chicory. Chicory is one of my favorites. That's why the trophy clover mix is my #1 mix. So, I mean, really on my plots, the only thing I plant, if you want to know, is I have trophy clover. I have game changer clover in my backwood plots, but I got trophy clover. I got honey hole and Slam Dunk. Out of all the stuff we sell, that's what I use. and I've used it for years. So it just works out the best for me. I test a lot of different stuff that we use. I just like that combination. Nothing wrong with the other stuff, but I'm the type of guy, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I just go with my old trusties every year, and you'll never see me without a trophy clover plot. I'll always have it, unless for some reason I got to go somewhere where I don't have enough sun for it. I will always have trophy clover. 90% of the deer that I shoot are going to a trophy clover plot. I hardly ever shoot one going to an annual plot. They usually hit my annuals later at night. They're always going to my trophy clover. So the clover and the chicory is just phenomenal. And I don't care if there's a foot of snow over it, they're going to hit it first. What we got here? James, how much does a Liberty cost down there in Georgetown, that place where you're telling me? I just bought another 2.5 gallon jug the other day. It was, don't quote me on this, James. I'm thinking it's like 80 some bucks for a 2.5 gallon jug. You're mixing 3 ounces per gallon. You can buy it cheaper online, but by the time you pay the shipping, it costs more. That place in Georgetown is the cheapest place I found it so far for the 2.5 gallon jug. And that 2.5 gallon jug will last me for 5 years. So Scott, Rob, I use honey hole slam dunk usually. It does pretty good in my sandier soil. I was thinking about adding some radishes. What's your thoughts? Actually, bud, the radishes work very well. Radishes do really well in sandier soil. The turnips and the honey hole do not. So you're always going to have better luck with the slam dunk over the honey hole in the sandier soil. And if you're just wanting to add something in there or plant something solo, the radishes will do very well. And tubular radishes love that sandier soil. Sandier, rockier, all that, they love it. Mark Coleman, can you use Jolt on all your annual/perennial plots? The correct answer is yes, you can, but I don't want you to. So, and here's what I mean. We've had Jolt for many, many years, and we've always used it on our clover, our perennial plots, and our annuals. Now, if any of you follow me for very long at all, you realize that I really stress not putting nitrogen on your clovers, and I still will tell you that. The Jolt is nitrogen base, where it also does have, it's a good fertilizer to use for the NPK in it. It's going to definitely benefit your clover plots, but it's definitely going to benefit the weeding grasses in your clover plots as well. That's why we came out with the clover fuel strictly for the legume plants, our perennial plots, such as our clovers, our alfalfas, our peas, our soybeans. That 0028 is only going to benefit the clovers. It will not feed the weeds and grasses, where the Jolt will. So now the Jolt for the annuals, that's what the annuals want. They're a nitrogen-loving plant. They want that nitrogen. And so the Jolt is best to use for the annual plots that are nitrogen lovers, and your perennial plots, that's what you're looking for more. That's what you're looking for more into the clover fuel. Now, a question I get asked a lot is, hey, you have chicory mixed in with your clovers, your alfalfas, which are legumes. I'm like, yeah. Well, they love nitrogen. Well, the good thing about them plants are, number one, your clovers are sucking in nitrogen from the atmosphere, storing it in the soil, which is feeding it. Your chicory has such a long root system, it's sucking the nitrogen from down deep, buried deep down, sucking it up. It feeds itself. So don't worry about putting any nitrogen on them chicory clover plots. That clover and chicory will do its own thing to feed that chicory. We just want to make sure we got them clovers as healthy as possible, and the clover fuel is the one that's going to do that for you. Jeff Johnson, back when fall, winter, spring was just peas and cereal rye, I'd always plant clover in late summer with it as a cover crop. Has some of the best fall. Yeah, absolutely, bud. That works out very well. Planting fall, winter, spring in with your clover is a great thing to do in the fall of the year. You'll have that clover come back the next year. Now, you guys heard me talk a whole lot about mixing things together and planting. The number one thing you want to do is ration them mixes out. If you have let's just use the honey hole and the slam dunk. Let's say you have a half-acre plot. You got a honey hole bag that plants a half acre. You got a slam dunk bag that plants a quarter. You do not mix them two together and plant a half acre and put that 3/4 acre with a seed on there. You're going to starve them plants for nutrition. They're going to wilt over and die. You're going to stun them really bad. You got to ration that out. When I'm doing a half acre mix, I'm doing a half of a bag of honey hole, the whole bag of slam dunk. That's where I'm getting my half acre at. So the worst thing ever to do is overseed a food plot with too much seed. And a lot of people argue with me about that. Everybody thinks more is better. But if you ever look at a plot that is seeded the correct way or even light compared to one that's overseeded, you'll never overseed again in your life. So overseeding is the worst thing to do, guys. So always ration them out. See if I missed anybody here. I think I got you all. You guys got any more questions? Throw them my way because we're about done here, guys. Yep, I think I got you all. But no, just kind of sum it up, guys. It's best to pick the right thing. There's a lot of information you can find out there on the web. Not all of it is correct. If I can stress anything, is get a hold of the company that has the product you're wanting to use and ask them. That's what I'm here for the company. On part of my job is the product specialist part of it. I take care of all customer service. Out of all the things I do between it and the marketing management part of it and all that, I like the customer service better because I can help people. Because when I started out, and my buddy Eric, if he's still on here, when we were planting plots years ago, we didn't have nobody really to talk to except some farmers, and it's just something that's nice to be able to help people. I learned pretty much everything I know from trial and error, and I still do it to this day just to see if it'll work or not. So I'm not going to tell you to try something if I haven't already tried it. And it's just and again too, with Todd Sittleberg, the owner of Antler King at the time, the founder of the company, he taught me so much about different things. And now being into it and seeing how the seeds, how everything is, it's just, there's not a lot to it, but there is. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff people don't see when it comes to building a mix and kind of wondering why it grows the way it does or why it doesn't grow there. Seeing it built and talking to the people that are a lot smarter than I am, which don't take much, it just blows me away. I love learning about this stuff and then be able to turn it over to you guys and share with what I learned. That's why I do it. And but I had a guy I had a guy call me the other day and call up Antler King, forwarded over to my phone, and he's asking me about how do I need to use, or how he needs to use our Slay and Arrest product. And I'm like, well, buddy, that's Whitetail Institute. And he just got, oh, I'm so sorry, this and that. But I said, but I'll tell you what you need to do. I said, I know how to use it. I'll tell you. That's what we're here for. That's what I enjoy doing, is helping somebody. I don't care if it's Antler King products. If you got a problem, I help. You can't believe the amount of people that I talk to and help that plant a competitor's product, may have some issues with it or some questions about it, and I'll help them. That's what we're here for. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to email, call, text, message. That's what we're here for. So that's my favorite part about it. Mike, you're saying Booner Buffet? Question mark. What do you want to know, Mike? Jeff, same. Todd and I are two of the best, most knowledgeable guys. I appreciate it, bud. Todd is one of them guys that, and Todd we're talking about here, guys, is the founder of Antler King. A brilliant man. The guy knows so much. But if you ever want to be at all, or you ever have a question, is just ask him how deer mineral works. That's his whole background. Listen to him talk about deer mineral and how each trace mineral and vitamin works together. You just sit back and just blows you away. You swear you're sitting there listening to Don Kiske talk about a 190-inch deer that he's chasing. You just kick back and you're at awe. You know, it's just amazing the knowledge that guy has. And I was lucky enough to be one of the guys that get to hear it a lot. Mike, for the barricade, you're asking when is the best time to plant? Any tricks to Booner? Here you go. Booner Buffet is the most finicky mix that we have besides sugar beets. What I mean by that is the premium varieties of alfalfa that are in this mix are very finicky. You got to have a very good pH in the soil, as close to that 7.0 as you can get it. It loves potash. You got to give it the potash. It needs a good seed bed. If you can give them three things, you can't hardly plant anything better. The alfalfa varieties in that and the clover varieties, they work so well together with the chicory. It is a phenomenal mix, but I wouldn't plant it unless my soil was at a 7.0. I'm getting at least 6 hours of sun a day, and I pray for Mother Nature to give me moisture. With that, you'll have the best plot ever. But it is very, very finicky. So that's about the easiest way to explain it to you, bud. Very finicky, but an awesome one to plant. Robert, do you offer like an account system where you can order from y'all without filling out an online order every time we order something? We don't, Robert. The only thing we offer is the dealership type account systems. We don't offer this for a customer. I'll tell you what, I'm going to check on that. Let me try a few things because, you know, when you order online, if I'm not mistaken, now I could be completely lying to you right now. I know all other orders, you actually get an account set up in our system off of your online order. If that's the case, you might be able to, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I can ask the girls and see how that works and let you know. I'm not sure on the online orders. I don't know if they set up an account for the online or not. I know they do everything else, industry and stuff like that. Mark, do you have a simple way to figure acreage square foot for the times when you're planting small food plots? I try to walk it off, do the math, but math is hard. You're exactly right, Mark. I'm either rolling mine out. I got a rolling wheel for my construction days. I'll roll it out with a reel, or I'll just get on my hunt stand and I will just trace it out, and it'll tell me it'll tell me down to the nitty gritty. So I use the hunt stand and the Onyx app a lot for that, especially with customers. They send me maps and stuff over, and I'll trace it out and get it. Really, all I normally do is I just do a length times the width on that. I'll just do the straight line draws. And now if it's kind of boomerang shape, something like that, I'll trace the whole thing out. But the hunt stand and the Onyx works excellent for measuring up a plot. John, you tell the girls Stacy and I both said hi too, but I appreciate that. All right, I see on here Anthony. Anthony's replying to Mark Coleman. Anthony, I don't see you on here anyway, but good to see you on here, man. Hope you're having a good evening. You're welcome, Mike. All right, guys, it's about that time. You got anything else for me? We got a few minutes here if you got something else. If not, we're going to shut her down for the evening, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Robert, yeah, order from Amazon. I will tell you this, Robert. I haven't been on Amazon's to look here lately as much. Watch ordering on Amazon, because if you don't get with our Amazon stuff, you can get third-party stuff and get old product that we have no control over. We have our own Amazon, but again, ordering antlerking.com, it's free shipping no matter what the order is. So you'll always get the freshest product if you order it from us online or our Amazon page, which that Amazon, or our Amazon account, our Amazon strictly comes straight from our warehouse. So, but there is other people out there selling all of our product, our competitors' product, all this and that. I get calls a lot on it where people will buy product. I had a guy ordered 6 bags of Red Zone from some body on Amazon, and the bags were 10 years old. Where they're getting this stuff at is beyond me. So really watch it on Amazon there. All right, guys, we're going to hop off here. You guys have a great night. Good talking with you. And need anything, like I always tell you, to feel free to reach out. Have a great night, guys. Take care.